Well, I'm here with Tessa Barron, and Tessa, you're the head of marketing for On24. Congrats. I just ran a survey recently on marketing, demand generation, ABM techniques, and webinars was the #1 tactic across the board for B2B marketers to do. I'm curious, what best practice suggestions would you have using webinars these days?
Yeah, so I think that the biggest thing I would suggest is stop thinking of webinars as a one-off event and something that happens once and then gets thrown away and isn't integrated as part of your overall buyer's journey or overall integrated demand gen campaign. We at On24, no surprise, obviously drink our own Kool-Aid, and webinars are far and away our #1 tactic when it comes to pipeline, and in fact closed won pipeline. So I'd actually take your survey results one step further and say it's not just effective from a generation of MQL standpoint, it's all the way down the funnel. And so what we've really done is evolved our webinar program from just being a single event once a month to being something that is always on and is happening on a day in, day out basis. We do that in a few ways. One, we leverage Simulive capabilities, which means you can record something once and replay it again and again. So we have a bottom of funnel webinar called our daily demo that happens every single day at 11 a.m. Pacific. So someone can sign up for multiple days in a week. They figure out it's a no pressure environment to really get an understanding of our product. And then way at the top of the funnel, we have a lot of different panels. We work with partners, we bring in other voices. What that allows us to do is broaden our perspective, but that can be difficult from a scheduling standpoint. So we often record panels. I have a recording, I think, tomorrow, and then we'll run it at a time that is best for all the different parties involved. So we are able to promote with different people and then have the convenience of the scheduling. That's a really tactical best practice. I would say flipping to the more strategic one is think about webinars in the same, and actually field events, as being a part of an integrated demand gen campaign. So you can use all your typical demand gen tactics like your content reports, your blogs, your ebooks, and those should be driving momentum toward a big culminating effect, and use webinars or field events to drive urgency to get those prospects to convert, and also to help drive motion with your outbound SDR or BDR teams, and also your AEs. There is nothing better for them than to be able to use a point in time to drive that urgency. But if you just think of that as something separate that's in a silo and not a part of this momentous and has alignment with the other content and messaging you're pushing, then you'll lose out on that halo effect that really helps you build that audience over time and pipeline.
How about length? Everybody's really complaining about having time today. Are webinars getting shorter in terms of duration?
Yeah.
Or
It's so interesting. I'm so glad you asked that because you would think that. But actually our webinar benchmarks show that time over time, all webinars are around 50 to 60 minutes.
Wow.
In fact, we saw a minute increase, I believe, in the last over the last year. Those results will be published in March. So I think that what that shows us is the on-demand functionality and the always-on aspect of webinars is really becoming so much more important. So people are not treating them anymore as this one-off event that happens in a single moment and they have to be there. Instead, it's this always-on channel that prospects can come back to again and again. They can self-educate, they can share with a buying group, and it becomes an extremely valuable opportunity for them to have an entire buyer's journey, an entire experience in a single event, which I think is pretty phenomenal. You know, typically in marketing, we like to drip things out, and it's this 6-week nurture process. In a single webinar, a prospect can get the thought leadership, valuable content. They can also raise their hand to get a demo or book a meeting with a salesperson. And actually, our platform is designed for that, to have that multi-touch experience. And so that's why I think the length is actually staying the same. It's just the context in which people consume them.
one of our clients, mutual clients, is a Fortune 50 company that we did an On24 implementation, as you're aware of, for an account-based marketing strategy. What are you seeing, last question, what are you seeing with account-based marketing and On24 right now with webinars?
So webinars are an amazing tactic for anyone's ABM strategy. And I think that the role that they play is they offer that ability to get really personal with promotions, but still leverage the meaty thought leadership content that is done at that general level. So we see people, and we do this ourselves, they'll take a thought leadership webinar that's done by corporate or that's done for the general population. And then what our platform specifically allows them to do is customize the different calls to action, customize the intros, the outros, the branding on it. And that gives them a really easy way to solve that ABM content challenge, but still personalize the different ways that they want someone to engage with them. And then I think at a higher level, what we're seeing is a lot of webinars by industry, a lot of webinars by persona. And it turns out that because someone's able to come in and have that conversation and have that interaction, a webinar channel is a personalized experience that someone is looking for that goes way deeper than just putting a logo on a landing page.
Last question, a personal question. You're
Sure.
a California native,
Yes.
living in New York,
Yes.
on a plane to California
All the time,
headquarters.
yeah.
Which coast do you prefer?
Oh, well, I have to say East Coast.
Really?
Because, that is just the whole attitude of the people there aligns with mine, which is it's one of action and can do. California can be sometimes more relaxed. But in all seriousness, it's so hard to choose. I love both. One's my home and one's my current home. And I can't imagine doing business without either.
Exactly. Well, hey, I really appreciate you making
Yeah,
the
of course,
time.
Sean.
Thanks, Tessa.
Yeah.